Hello, everyone. Welcome again. I hope you enjoyed all the sessions so far, and we are so close to the end. So please don't forget to fill up the survey to have a chance to win the raffle prize. Let's welcome Alexis, the founder of WeTransact, and she's a woman tech maker ambassador, and she's a founder of Real Raise NFT Future. Yesterday, she had a great session about NFT, and we are so excited to see like the collapse image that came out of our images. And today she will show us how to mint our NFTs and set up our wallet to buy. I will hand it over to her. Thank you.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. Yes, yesterday was very exciting. We had so many great submissions, and in fact, we had more than we were expecting. So I'm going to go through today some of the things we didn't get to yesterday because we just wanted to make sure everybody could get their images created and uploaded. So thank you for everybody who submitted. We are going through those right now, and we are organizing those as we speak. So I'm going to start the first half of this session today to go over the basics around an NFT. So as I pull up OpenSea and we start to get into the marketplace and show how we upload and mint an image, and then how we drop or accept offers if people are offering to purchase it, you can have a better understanding of what it is we're doing and what all these parts are. So let's dive right in. What is an NFT? So as we go through, I'm going to go to the next slide here. Before you do anything with NFTs, you need to know basically what we are using this for. And there's always a buyer and a seller. And so when there's a buyer and a seller, there's barter or trade that happens between two people, and there's a purchase for an exchange of something, usually money. So the reason we want to start here is because as we go along, we're going to be comparing what we know very well in the real world, how this works in life, and being able to compare it side by side with what those are in the digital world as we are buying and selling NFTs. So the first thing with what is a non-fungible token? We're going to break down all of these terms. So fungible, to understand what that is saying, I'll give you this item in exchange for money, which is something that I can use then to exchange for other goods. This is a fungible item. This money acts as something that I can use to convert into many different objects. The money can get me groceries, it can get me clothes. So that is what fungible to kind of compare. So that now when we look at what is non-fungible in this NFT, the first two letters, what does that stand for? It stands for when I'm giving you something and you're going to give me something specific back. So think of this more in that trade scenario. If you were at an antique fair and there's a specific item and you want to trade your baseball card and they're going to give you their favorite picture, then that is a trade where it's not an exchange of money or something that we use to buy anything. It's a specific to this item for that item. So that's where non-fungible comes from. That's what it means. And that's how in the real world we use non-fungible token in the real world. That's what a non-fungible trade is. It's trading Y for X. And they cannot be exchanged. They're exclusive and only can be exchanged for one another. So as we go into the token part, before we get there, we have to realize the token acts as really the receipt. So when we have a sale and there are things that we agreed to when we sell something to somebody else. Those are the terms of contract. So, of course, some sales are more complicated than others. If I'm just exchanging, that's going to be a more straightforward contract. There's going to be less specific details with that trade. If it is for a house or a mortgage or a car, as you know, there's going to be a lot of other terms of sales, conditions that must be met so that this can actually be a completed sale. So as we look at that and we look at, okay, this is how now there may be a middle person. So it could be a broker or a bank or an attorney who needs to verify. It's this third party that's going to verify, yes, the terms of condition were met, and now the sale can be completed and we can sign the contract or create a receipt. So the reason we're going through the real world scenario is this is what we know. This is what's familiar. And our goal here today is to make everything in the real world very clear and understandable as we move over to the digital marketplaces and non-fungible tokens. So going in back to the digital world, how would we do this? This is where smart contracts replace this terms of sale. So it is done by computers instead of that broker or that middleman. So now the computers are able to verify, okay, one computer will check, yes, this was done. Then there may be another term of the sale that was prescribed that they both agreed to. And yes, this one was done. And as the computers are doing this for us and calculating these calculations, then that is how on the virtual smart contract world, the contract then is satisfied. So once those items are met, automatically then a token is generated. So the token is on the blockchain where you're actually having the elements of the smart contract being met. And the moment it is, the computers automatically create a token that says this now exists. This agreement is now real, whole, and set. So this is something that is visible to everyone on the blockchain. So that hopefully helps explain kind of what we do in the real world and moving it into the digital and the token. So a non-fungible token, just to go from the top, is when you're exchanging something in particular, X for Y. So now it might be a certain type of currency, which might be Ether or some of the digital currencies. It also could be maybe I'm trading you for another NFT. Whatever those things are, you're trading X for Y, non-fungible tokens. Then once those things are completed, it becomes a token. So now officially it is its own item on the blockchain, and that is what an NFT is. So I hope this helps explain just kind of the basics of what it is, not just the acronym and what the words are, but hopefully what those words mean and what they mean in the context of the real world and the digital world. So now let's get into accepting the offer, because as we finish the whole sale, the whole purchase, whatever it is that we're trying to do in a marketplace, we want to be able to finish the transaction. And that's what's exciting about today's workshop. We're really going to be diving into how we're going to mint, put it in the marketplace to auction, and then how we accept an offer or be able to purchase the NFT or put it on for sale as well. So when we accept an offer, you have a verbal handshake in the real world. That's how it was originally done, as they say. Now you also can, of course, we have digital records, so you can do your credit cards online and be able to shop online. That's when you select the item and put it in your cart. You're saying, yes, I want this, and I'm entering in my credit card information. That is when the offer of whatever is being put up for sale in the marketplace is good for the buyer. And they're saying, yes, I accept this offer. I accept this price for this item. I want this item. Here's my acceptance of the offer. I'm handing you my credit card. I'm handing you my money. I'm handing you my hand in a handshake. So once it's actually on the blockchain, this is when the smart contracts, all the terms are met. We were talking about that earlier, and now it's going to automatically be linking. So one of the terms that has to be met is that the offer was made and received. So the blockchain actually is making sure that that's one of the terms. So going back to the last slide, when you're accepting an offer, that's part of the terms so that it can be on the blockchain. Once it's on the blockchain, that token acts as a receipt. It is the documentation forever linked in all the chains of every other transaction going on the blockchain globally that this payment has been accepted, this item has been transferred, and the payment has been processed, whatever that payment that they agreed to was. So as they are verifying all this, it's always on the blockchain. We always want to go over this again because once something's on the blockchain, it is immutable. That means it cannot be changed. It also means that it's somewhat public. So the information that's on the blockchain with an NFT is public. Now, they're going to be part of an NFT, which is hidden, and we're going to get into that as well. But that is something to be aware of when you're creating an NFT and when you're doing a transaction on the blockchain. It's 100% transparent. So now the delivery of the item. We're actually going to get this item, whether we got it in a box from Amazon at our door or whether we were handed it in a store in the bag. No matter how it's being mailed, sent, digitally downloaded, there has to be proof that the item was delivered. So that non-fungible token is the full proof. It is everything connected with the transaction. It's showing it was there. It's showing the terms were met. It's showing that the receipt had happened at the exact moment in time. And it's showing at that exact moment in time that it also was delivered. So that is, congratulations, a complete NFT purchase start to finish, and hopefully relating it to the real world makes it a little bit easier for you to understand what an NFT is, and more importantly, how it's used in the real world, or we are going to use it today. All right, so going back to NFTs, these can be lots of different types of items, just like in the store. You can have so many different types of products. The products, though, for NFTs are specifically digital. So these have to be items that can be paintings, pictures, games, videos. It could be collections. It could be virtual games, whatever is in the digital world. So it could be fun like this graphic here, a unicorn. It can be whatever you can create on the digital platform. So the item itself is not a physical item. The item is a digital item. So now that it's a digital item and we're talking about this as an asset, why would I want to buy something that's just an image of something else? Why would I want to just buy the object itself? Well, there's a couple different reasons. When you buy a digital asset, you have something that's called permission to use this asset, or that way you can publish it as your profile picture on Twitter now. If you've seen that on Twitter, they're asking you, would you like to upload your profile image as an NFT? Yes, you can. So this is an exclusive image that only belongs to you, that you have access or permission to use. Now, if you bought an image that was part of a collection and there's multiples, then of course it's only exclusive to the people who own one of those in the collection. But the idea is that you have permission to use it. That doesn't mean anybody else can access or be able to use that image. Now, why would we want to own or have access to an image? What does an NFT actually give me? Well, it gives you ownership. So that is the rights and publish that we just went over. But what else it gives you is where it gets really exciting and very creative. If you think of an NFT as a ticket, when you go into a concert, there are different tickets that get you different things. If you have a VIP pass, that may get you a backstage experience. If you have a bleacher pass, that might get you into the bleachers at a baseball game. So depending on what that little ticket represents, and there's only one with the unique code that ties to that ticket, now it is limitless. We could connect real world experiences and moments that someone can have access to. So I want to shift away from an NFT just being a digital. It's not what it represents in terms of the image itself or the fact that it only exists in the digital world. It's an ownership that also gets you access. When you think of going to the airport and you have a VIP lounge that you may have access to because you have a certain credit card or you've earned a certain number of miles, or the plane didn't arrive on time and they gave you a complimentary day pass, whatever it might be, this is something that now has value. So start thinking about what cool things you could do that could be hidden value, access to your products, your real world, maybe experiences that could be offered. Now that really opens up what the power of an NFT could be when you're selling it and offering this in a marketplace. The other area of NFT that I wanted to bring up was that hidden content. Everything on an NFT is on the blockchain, so it is public. But what's exciting about an NFT is there's a hidden component, meaning if someone purchases the image, then they, the next purchaser, will be able to access some exclusive content. This is optional. You do not have to do it, but it's a really cool thing, again, to think about what else could I offer that would have value, that would increase the value of my NFT, and also increase the value of whoever purchases this to be satisfied and excited about the NFT they just acquired that could add to their experience. And so one of the things that we did, for example, with our Progress Not Perfection NFTs, is we shared our personal stories. We created images with quotes and graphics of what Progress Not Perfection meant to us, and also the Ukrainian Red Cross, the project meant. Whatever spoke to you, we created a graphic. The graphic in and of itself is what's public, but the hidden content that we also created was a few sentences. Some people uploaded a video to record what this means to them and to share a personal story that would not be public. It would only be for the eyes of the person who purchased it. So this is an example of how we in our series created our NFT graphic. Then we created this hidden content. And now also the additional value is that we are going to take the proceeds and donate this to the Ukrainian Red Cross. So that is something that is all the feels and moving forward in terms of people who purchase the NFTs will be able to participate in that experience and be part of this. So think about what an NFT is now. Hopefully this opens your eyes and minds to what it can be and how it actually relates a lot more to the real world than maybe you thought originally. So let's go into the NFT marketplace. The NFT marketplace is definitely something we're going to be working on mostly during this workshop today. The marketplace, think of it as the shopping mall. This is where you go to buy NFTs. There'll be lots of different stores in a mall. So as you go to different stores, they're going to carry different types of items. They may be collections or collectibles. They may be trading cards. They may be individual images, all sorts of digital products that are available. Certain stores may have different collections. So you can go in and browse all the different stores on a marketplace just like you do the mall. You can walk in, see it anytime. Unlike the mall, it's open 24 hours. It's online. So this is something that is all the time. It's totally open to the public. Now, there are different types of malls. And the reason I want to just jump into this is that what we are showing you today is the OpenSea marketplace. This is one mall, but as we know, there are many different types of malls in the world. There's very high-end retail, there's discount outlet malls, there's strip malls on the way home that we all stop by. So there are many different types of marketplaces out there. So OpenSea is just one of many marketplaces. So as we are showing you the OpenSea and how to operate and see what we're doing with our collection there and how we created it, how we minted it, and how we're accepting buying and selling the NFTs, keep in mind, this is only what we're showing because this is how we are doing it for the collection that you guys participated in with these workshops. There are many more marketplaces and we encourage you to definitely explore. So as we go through, I am now going to switch over to a marketplace and we are going to talk a little bit about what's in the marketplace and what you need to do to buy. So let me switch slides here and I'll go to screen share. Please, if you have questions as we go along, feel free to ask. That was the longest part, hopefully, of me just talking from the slides, and now we'll be doing more on the platform. Okay, so let's go to share screen. Great. Wonderful. Okay, so here we are. This is the OpenSea Marketplace. Our Progress Not Perfection collection was created. We started this in our previous workshop for the Northeast, and this was back on April 8th. So everything here in our collection is going to show all the NFTs that were created during that workshop and uploaded. As I click on any of these NFTs, I will then be able to see, okay, there is unlockable content. So if I were to open this and I was an owner, which I am currently the owner, then I can actually confirm and open this, and then it verifies on my phone, which you'll see up here, confirm on your phone, that I am the owner and I can access and view this content. So this is where we're going to be having an amazing page for our mosaic collage, which is going to have all of the meaning behind all of the images that will be in this single image. It's going to be an amazing hidden content portion. So as we go in, you're also going to be able to see if there were any offers on an NFT. So this one doesn't have any offers. Even before you decide to sell your NFT or to put a price on it, people can make offers. And then it's up to you if you want to accept them. So let me go to one that shows what it'll look like when you have an offer. And then we're going to do a mint together so you can see how to mint the NFT. So I'm going to close this and let's go back to the main collection. And just this morning, I'm very excited. We were able to successfully have a few of the participants set up their wallets, which we're going to dive into, but we will have lots of support materials on the app for you since there are lots of nuances to wallets. Let's grab one of these that was able to successfully make the offer. One sec. We'll see it at the bottom. Where did this one go? Okay. Actually, I could do this one. Has offers. There we go. Okay, so these two have offers on them. Now, these were offers that were made. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Anna's here. We already chatted, and I'm going to be able to accept her offer. So since I am the one that uploaded this NFT, this is me logged in as the current owner, the original creator of this, being able to accept an offer. So now I can see the offer is here and we are now going to accept it. Of course, you have the option to counter and then it would go back and forth. So hopefully this feels really comfortable in how easy it is to make an offer and to accept. So now I am going to accept and everything looks good. I'm going to agree and we are ready to go. So it is initializing my account. It will ask you, of course, to verify, which is very important that you do have your phone or your wallet close by. And we can now confirm the payment. So as everything is happening here, this may slow me down on the presentation. So I'm going to pause this so we can go back to minting. It may take a few minutes, but this is as simple and easy as it is going to be to accept an offer. So now you can see you browse, you can make an offer on any NFT, and then it can be accepted. What I'd like to do is jump right in. And please, if there are any other questions, we're going to go ahead and go into how to create and mint an NFT. So when you go to OpenSea in particular, you can mint an NFT as an individual. So I'm going to show a single NFT that can be uploaded. So I'm going to close this. There we go. Just cancel that for now so we can see everything. Perfect. Okay, so when I go to create, it will ask me to sign. Again, it's always verifying that I am in fact who I am. So I am accepting on my phone on my Coinbase, which I do recommend Coinbase, especially if you have New York and some states where certain currencies can be a little bit of a challenge to purchase. Coinbase is going to be your wallet. So if you think about Visa, MasterCard, those are the items that go in the wallet. So the currency would be like your Ether, all your different Doge coins, your Bitcoin, whatever currencies you have, even connecting it to your bank account. You can have that fiat money, which is whatever the money is that we use in the real world is fiat money. You can connect that to your wallet. So think of this as your Apple Pay. You have all your cards connected to this, everything's in it, and it's actually storing that digital currency as well as any digital items that you're collecting. So when you purchase something, when I purchase an NFT, it's going to be storing it in your wallet. So what's kind of cool is your NFT, your collections are also here too, and this is where you could access them. So it verified who I am. So just know I'm going to work backward and then we're going to go into the wallet. But I want you to see how it works with the process so you understand where everything's coming from. So as we create a new item, I can upload an image here. And 1 second as I quickly download an image for us. And I'm just going to grab one at random from our uploads yesterday. Okay, so let me switch screens so you guys can see how exciting this is on my end and see what's happening in real time. So I'm going to switch. Okay, so now I wanted to show you guys what is happening in the back end. So this is very exciting. This is our workshop. We had over 101 people log in and participate. This is mind-blowing. It's partially why it's taking our team a little bit longer to download. So I'm going to be showing everybody. We went through all of these packets and information. Everybody here has participated. It's going to be so cool to see everybody live. And then I'm going to go into one of the uploaded packets so we can grab an image from today. So let me just grab that for us. And we're going to get one of the images that was uploaded from the workshop. So thank you again for everybody participating. We were in such a rush yesterday. I was really nervous that everyone would understand it, but I think via all the chats and Slack channel, as well as the communication board, we were all able to figure it out. So let me go here and I am going to grab one from Breen Sullivan. So here, oh, this is exciting. They're from the 4th floor, one of the co-founders there. And here is the quote that she has authorized us to be able to mint. So I'm going to download this one so that I can get ready to upload. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my other screen. Downloads. Let me grab it. Lots of screens here trying to do everything for the demonstration, so give me 1 second. Okay. I'm going to get this over here. Wonderful. Okay, back to this screen. Stop. Share. All right, so we're going back to OpenSea now. All right, so now we are on OpenSea. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me as I was flipping through everything and making sure I stayed logged in. That is something I also want to let you know, that when you are on a marketplace and things like that, you may often see in the upper right-hand side where it'll just automatically log you out. Sometimes that happens. Just go ahead and be able to log back in. So I have uploaded Breen's quote, which is very exciting. And now I'm going to go through the fields here that we need to list and create and mint this NFT. So we're going to do this live together. So if you are looking at your link to our NFT on OpenSea, you can see this going up live as soon as we press the button, which is very exciting. So I'm going to grab some of Breen's information so we can make sure everything for her NFT is good. And this is really fun to do it live. I hope it's going to encourage you guys to ask questions as we go, like what's happening. We really wanted to make this as natural as if you're really here over our shoulder doing it with us, because we want you to feel comfortable to do it yourself and to use this tool and pay it forward and do something good with NFTs. It can be a very fun tool once you get comfortable with it. So we hope this is helping you in that journey. So let me go to the, okay, let me grab her thing here and her details. All right, grab that, data vault. Great. Okay, wonderful. Thank you guys as I fill in her details. Since this is a real NFT and I'm the only one here on today's event, I don't have my future founders with me today. I want to just make sure that I take my time and I do it right, because it is on the blockchain. So once it's on the blockchain, it's there. So we don't want to mess it up. So I'd rather go slow through this section. I encourage you to do the same, because there's no like, oops, I need to go back. This is, once it's minted, this is out there, and it is forever, which is very exciting and cool, but it's also, it'll capture any mistakes that you made with it too. You can go back and do some editing, but if we can avoid it, that would be, of course, ideal. So I am updating here for Breens. And for the external link here, we're actually sharing the page that describes the project and what this is all about. This is for anybody who's browsing through at the mall in the marketplace, looking in the store window to say, oh, what's this about? So before they decide to buy, this is the web page that we have that will like show everybody all the information of what it is, and hopefully encourage them to be excited enough to buy, or what maybe is being offered with the NFT, which in this case is supporting the Ukrainian Red Cross. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link there so they can access all the information about our project. And we have a special page that is going to be about the series, and I'm grabbing that link right now. So this is a wonderful way, if you're an organization or you have a cause or a mission, have a link to that mission or that page. It's really a cool way to get people who may not have otherwise known who you were or what you were doing to rally their support for you guys. So in the description, we have a very basic description that we're doing here for everybody. This is one that is just a few lines about the NFT. And of course, just like the link, you can put whatever you'd like there. We're keeping this one very standard because of course we want everybody to be equal, and we want to make sure that it really represents this series as a learning experience, as a workshop to get comfortable with creating NFTs, understanding what they are, and minting them, as well as accepting offers and putting them up for sale. So it's a lot, but that is why we kept the description simple. But you guys out there have a blank canvas of what could be done. And if you have any ideas or not sure what to put in on a description or any of these, remember, it's a mall. Browse around, go look at what other collections are doing, read their descriptions. That's how everybody's learning right now, is talking, sharing. You know, there is no right or wrong in the NFT world. It's changing all the time. So just take a few minutes and browse and see what's right and what speaks to you, and go from there. So the description will be public. The external link will be public. The name on the NFT will also be public. So I just want to go over what areas are public so that you know, as you're putting these things up, that they're going to forever be on the blockchain. I know I keep repeating that, but of course, privacy and security are number one, and we want to make sure everyone is comfortable with that. So now for the unlockable content, I'm going to grab some of the material here that has been authorized for that. So one moment as I pull that up. And thank you guys so much. As I do this in real time, it can be a pause here and there, but the step by step and how long it really takes to do this, I hope you're seeing it's not taking that long. It's pretty much just me trying to find my files that's taking the longest. Okay, so let's go here, go into the registration, and now I can get the line here. Awesome. Cool. And this one, oh, this is very cool. So of course, this is super important. And got it. So we're going to put here the 4th floor as well. So Breen would like us to list, of course, the 4th floor. It's an amazing organization that helps more women get board seats. They have a big petition going on, 75,000. They're working to get on that list. So if that's something that speaks to you, want to get more women in the boardroom, of course, on IWD, this is something that very aligns with the topic this year. And this one, we're going to put our unlockable content as a video for the entire project. This video was really amazing video that was done by one of our members at the Northeast, and Ritu put this together, and it's the most beautiful collage of women and what progress and not perfection means to them. So let me go ahead and grab that YouTube real quick. And this can be anything you want. So as I'm pulling this in, it could be a code. So maybe that backstage pass code they need, a VIP pass. It could be a link to a file. It could be a video. So just know I'm putting in a link here to a video, but you can be creative. It's the digital world. So almost anything we do in the real world, we can do some sort of digital access or entry point. It could be a QR code. That would be a really fun way for somebody to be able to access their VIP. So think creatively on the experience. Like use this NFT to make it cool and fun for people to buy it, experience it, and really make it memorable. I think it adds a really exciting layer to any type of live event or experience as well. Hopefully that gives some more ideas of ways you can use it. So I'm going to go in, switching my accounts really quick so I get the correct account. Okay. And my channel. Perfect. Apologies, music's coming up, and we're going to grab this one here. All right. So I am sharing this video here, which is so cool. And I'm going to share the link with everyone as well in the chat, because if you haven't seen the video, you should definitely take a look. It's really great. Okay, so now we are good. Link there. Again, longest part was getting the files. So as we go through all the things, how many do you want to actually put in stock? There is information on a lot of these things as well as you go through. Of course, I encourage you to click on the information. I'm going over the high level things so that you can really feel good about like what you're going to need to actually upload, but feel free to dive in. So as you go in, there's going to be different types of yes, we are going to have time for questions for sure. I'm going to finish in just the minute as we mint this one. You are going to choose what type of currency that you're going to accept. Okay, so I'm going to double check one more time. We have Breen Sullivan, the 4th floor, the description, the item. We don't need to worry about any of the collections, or, oh, I do. I need to add it to our collection so that it appears in that group and series. All right, now we're all set. And I am going to double check, triple check, have somebody else look at it, and we are going to create. So when you go through this, like anything, it's the digital world. So just like it sent it to your phone, to verify me, it is also going to verify you here. So you created, woo, we just minted Breen's NFT, and now she can go ahead and share it out. We are going to go back into the collection, and now we are going to see Breen's image pop up in just a moment. Oh, it's already there. So now Breen's image is in the collection. So let's do some questions here. How are we on time, ladies?
We can take a couple questions. Yes, I do have some actually. So yeah,
Yeah, let's open it up.
yeah, it will appear in the screen here in a moment. And till this happen, I just have a question. Like, if okay, the same question of Sherry. Like, is this so easy to people to, for example, take a screenshot or copy and paste this image? Like, what guarantee this will not be used by someone else if I purchase it? And I saw the price is really in dollars. It's kind of $80 or $90, so it's not cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where what an NFT actually represents being more than image. Of course, this is same in the real world, right? Like we could take a picture of a painting or the Mona Lisa, but it's not the Mona Lisa. There's, the Louvre in Paris gets to be the official owner of it. So some of it is who's the official owner and is that one in existence in the entire world and you're the owner of that. So provenance for artwork will document each owner, which also acts as a provenance like you would at auction of all the people who owned it as it's sold and traded. So there's some value there. Of course, that adds value to an object as, people who owned it becomes part of the value of the object. Jackie O's pearls, I think, were a great example of that. $50 basically over the counter costume jewelry pearls. When they auctioned for 300,000 because Jackie O wore them. So there's that element, and then the other element not to forget either in terms of like protecting. Yes, there are legal issues to people using images that are not there, they don't have the rights to use, and that would be just like, if Getty Images or somebody whoever owned it would then have the proof of ownership they need to say, hey, look, they use this without our consent. So you still do have that proof of ownership. Of course, it's the real world, people do it, but you have those same channels then to say, no, look, I'm the owner and I'm the only one who has permission to publish. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And I just always want to encourage everybody to really think of the value of an NFT as well, because it's so much more than just an image, or it can be. And that's what we're really excited about, how we can, do more than just trade pictures.
Yeah, Sherry Yang asked another question. If you are not an artist, like you can still make an NFT, because I know like there is many types of NFT, like video or image or whatever. Like, yeah.
So true. You don't have to be an artist. In fact, I'm going to share, we had a Flutter app, which is what we used. And you can look at yesterday's recording. I won't like a screen share to find it right now. But yeah, there are ways that you could auto generate images. There's a lot of apps too. I mean, you can take a photo. You can see some of these are just images taken, by the individual that were uploaded as a digital file. We all have phones. There's so much ability to create, and don't let that limit you. I think, look around in the marketplace. It gives a lot of inspiration, and hopefully it'll also encourage you to like try anything yourself. I mean, there's no better place to start than hopefully in a workshop together, playing with our Flutter app to make it easy.
Perfect. I do have another question myself.
Yeah.
This like it's once it's an offer, like there is an offer on it, it's only purchased by one buyer. It couldn't be like multi buyers for the same NFT, right? Like in the same time.
Yeah. So if you wanted to have many people purchase a single item, you would have to make sure that when we minted that item, instead of selecting one, you would maybe list 100 of it. So now there'd be like 100 items, they'd all be numbered. So think of that as your limited collection. You own one of 200, two of 200.
Yeah.
So that's how you would be able to sell multiples and give everyone the permission. But yes, you wouldn't be able to have multiple offers for a single item. It's going to be transferring from one owner to the next.
Okay, maybe my last question: is there any cost associated with selling, or it just you can put whatever you want?
There are, so when you are selling an NFT, each marketplace has different fees.
Mhm.
So I'm going to just give the moments where you need to look out for these fees. The fees are going to be something you can go to a marketplace, you can search fees, and you're going to see lots of articles pop up. They charge a fee often the first time you set up an account to
Mhm.
verify you are a human being. It might be a penny, or a cent or whatever, but it's the way of digitally knowing in the world, okay, this is your bank account, this is you, this is your wallet, things like that. When you sell an NFT, there are collections like this where you can pass that gas fee. So, gas is that middleman that we were talking about that verifies that all the terms of the agreement were met, the terms of sale, and the blockchain and all the computers are doing the calculations. So, that is gas. That's like the actual everybody doing calculations to verify, okay, this is all the terms completed, now a token, and then that process still has a cost, and that's called gas fees. So if you hear
It's kind of
gas,
broker, like a broker.
like the broker, but the computers are calculating it. It's like
Mm.
a broker without a human. It's a digital broker. And it's happening so quick and so real time. And of course, it's totally transparent. So we're all able to see what's happening on the blockchain. But that is a fee that you're going to have. Now, when you put money into cryptocurrency, similar to going to a bank, let's say you're switching from one currency to another and you're in a foreign country. When you go to a currency exchange, you're going to pay an exchange fee.
Mm.
Similar in, it's no different than in the real world. It's the same here. When I'm taking my dollars, whether I have US dollars or whatever my fiat money is for where I hold my currency in my native country, then I will have to put that money into a digital currency. When I make that trade or exchange, you're going to be trading at that trade rate, what it's valued at that moment. So I compare the getting your money into crypto and onto a wallet. That's why you really want to be at like a Coinbase where it can make sure you can swap your currencies. And if you do want to look at, okay, is this a very high time, is this a good price? Like ETH just in the last day dropped a lot, and we had to adjust here because the ether dropped. So there are things very similar to currency.
Perfect. Like we are so excited to try it out. And
Good, good.
our own accounts as well. Like I hope you sell all of our quotes and stuff, and help Ukraine to overcome this crisis. So thank you so much, and we'll try to welcome now our next speaker. Um, uh, her name is Procheta, and she's a WTM ambassador and the UX designer at BGC Engineering, and she will talk about navigating a career transition with confidence. Thank you so much, Procheta, to join, and I will hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Shaima, for having me, and like the whole IW team for having me. So, hello everyone. So, we are going to have like a very interesting session today, and in there, like, so it's kind of like a very like go to questions and like confusion about the career that we always face, and that's what I'm going to talk about today in this session. So, just before that, I just wanna little share a little bit of intro of myself. Like as Shaman mentioned, yeah. So my name is Procheta. I am a full-time UX designer working at BC Engineering in Canada. And before I doing that, like I had like a master's degree in ACI, and I did my bachelor in computer science and engineering. But that is not the end. So my whole another life is volunteering, like that I have been doing like since 2015 during my undergrad study time. And so far, like I have done like a lot of public speaking and organized and hosted a lot of events, and I have been with the GDZ women tech makers like for quite a long time, and I have also like been a design mentor into Joystick Lab and also like the in extended Google developer. So and that is like a little bit about me like in my professional life and my volunteering life, but there is like a whole new like scenario behind this. So that is like my career journey. So that's been like a very roller coaster journey, and that's what like I am going to share today. And let's see like how is the situation of that career transition or career switch like or career change, whatever you call it, like how's the situation right now. So as far we can see, like there are like 29% people like they have totally changed their field since they have started the first time after college, and among them, just only 15% on also like not using like any of their education in their current job, and just about like 53% they are using like half or less of the college education in their current job. So it's basically like trying to convey that how much career switch are happening right now in these days, like, and the career switch or career transition is no longer a barrier, like even though we don't have like a similar college degree or education, like you can always have that opportunity. But there is like some sort of like arguments like how can you do that, when can you do that, and like when is the perfect time for doing that. I would say just don't worry about this, like it's totally fine, you can do it like at any stage of your life, and you can explore any of those careers, like just going beyond your background or education or your previous degree. Like you have your whole life and you have the control of that, so you can do whatever you want at any time of your life. But it seems like so simple, like yeah, so I can switch my career at any time of my life, but the fact is how can I do that? That is the most valuable questions, like so how can I do that, like what do we need to do, or like what is the situation and what would be the path, and like how can I get involved with that, or how can I start with that. So there are tons of unanswered questions that comes in our mind when we are doing the career switch or career transitions. So having a fixed path is not similar for all. Like we can see like in internet and everywhere. Okay, so there seems like so many steps to describe, but it depends on every person's life because we all have our own journey. We all have like a different background, different experiences. So we have to adapt based on that. Like so we need to. It's really important to understand like how it can be fit into my life, like not just like copying someone else or not just by regretting by seeing someone else's life or success. And that's why the very first step is to take a step back, like instead of like stepping forward, take a step back and try to understand like why do you want to do that career transition like or career switch, because nobody knows you better than you. So you have to do the investigations by yourself, and it can be anything. Like, so it could be like you're not happy with your current job, or there's too much stress, or you have like problems or issue with your colleague, or it could be no, you no longer like this work, or you want to do something else, or you had a different passion but you didn't get a chance to do that, but now you're thinking to do that, or there's so many variables, like it's different for everyone and we all have our own reasons for doing that. So that is basically the main thing. We need to figure it out, like why do I want to do that, because until I don't know more about myself, I cannot find a better way for myself to find the solutions for that. So, for examples, like I'll just share my life, real life example, so that you know, like how the situation like could be and how you can also like imply that to your own life. For example, in my lab, like I have like a computer science background. I had a like I say background, and I was doing pretty well on the time. Like I had published a lot of paper. I have won a lot of contests, and I have been to multiple conference and everything. So everything was like going really well. But the main thing was, and like the main concern for me was that was always bugging me on my hand. Like, is it something that I really want, or there is something that I felt like there's something like always was missing in me, even though I was doing well, I was fully devoted into all of the study and work and everything. But there is something like it's just like so whatever you are doing your work, there's like two different things. Like one thing is like, okay, I have to do this work, that's why I'm doing this work. And another part is I like this work, so I want to do this work. And for me it was like the first part, like I'm studying that, so I have to do that to build my career. It wasn't like something, oh yeah, this is the thing I really want, and I want to do this forever in my entire life. So that was the thing for my life, and that's when I realized. So maybe I should take some steps or take some actions, like to remove or to like eradicate this concern, so that I know myself better what I want. And that's where comes the fear, right? So whenever we think like, okay, so I have done this and this, or sometimes it can be like, oh my God, I have spent or invested so much money and time doing my undergrad, bachelor, PhD, postdoc, like lots of degrees. But now I'm moving to a totally different field. Like, am I able to do that? Or how's that gonna be? Like, can I survive on that? Like, or how worse it can be? Like, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if like I am not successful, like of what I'm thinking? And this is our own background thought, but this is not the end. There'll be like so many thoughts that will come to you, and so many questions or advice comes to you from your surroundings. Like people will tell you like, okay, no, you are not doing well. Okay, so no, you are not taking the right decision. You shouldn't like do something, go another degree, or you should stick to whatever you're studying to. Like you have to make that choice, or no, you cannot waste your parents' time, or you cannot waste your so much time and money of trying or exploring something new. So there will be so many things coming up, and that's what really fear us to take the actions. But that's why it was important to understand like why do I wanna do that, so that if I know like why do I wanna do that, then that's not gonna be a barrier to like face all of those questions, advice, suggestions, and obstacles. And for that, we can do one thing, like we can just like start exploring. So that is the thing, like instead of like moving so fast and like, okay, I have to do this and this, just be slow and steady at the first. That will give you the options to explore more of your surroundings, more of your possibilities, and then you can understand like what do you want in your futures, or is it something that you are capable of doing that? Can you take that stress like mental pressure or society pressure and everything? And then that's where comes to like set your goals. And for me, for example, like if I talk about myself while I was exploring the options and setting my goal, and then I said, okay, so I have so many options open for me. Like I could be into academic, I could be into faculty, since I have a lot of teaching experience and like a paper publications, and I can do a PhD, right? So that's what my parents or like everyone suggested me to do. Like just get into a PhD right after finishing my master's. And I could also be a researcher, since I have a lot of research and paper publication experience. Like I could easily be one of these. But what wasn't easy for me to be, that was being a designer, because I haven't had any kind of degrees or anything. And that's where I had to take a lot of pressures and a lot of courage to take the decision and set my goal that yes, I have to be a designer and I want to be that. Like, even though those are the easiest and more convenient path for me, other paths, like, I want to take the risk and to do what I really want. And for that reason, the first thing would be like once you have set your goal, you need to identify the constraint, like what are the constraint or what are the obstacles are coming up on your way that will be blocking you to be what you want to be. And that is the thing you need to overcome, because you want, if you want to be that, you have to overcome those obstacles. Like otherwise, like you'll be lagging behind to those people who already have the experience of your anticipated field, that you're lacking that one. And definitely you need to fill the gaps. Like once you have identified all those constraints, you need to work on filling those gaps. And the constant could be anything, like for example, like for me, when I was planning for the career switch, the problem for me was like no guidance. Like I didn't have like proper guidance. Like I didn't know anyone in the design field to whom I can ask for some suggestions or guidance, or to whom I can seek help. Like I didn't have that options. And I also didn't have like a design degree. The whole of my life I was doing programming and research. Like I haven't gone to any design schools, or I haven't taken any design courses in any of those institutions. So those two are the things, like those who are already in the design fields, like they already have the privilege to explore those. And another thing was for me was the financial constraint. Like since I was international student in here and I had my scholarship, so I had a very limited amount of financial support like that I can bear. So I couldn't bear, like if I want to do like another study or if I want to take a paid course or anything, like that wasn't possible for me. Like I didn't have that support or backup for me. And also the time constraint, like that was like a huge barrier for me also, because I was a full-time student and also I was doing my research work and I was teaching like every week. And the only time I have for me is the weekend, like Saturday and Sunday. And that's the thing, like I have to use to complete all my homework and all my assignments. So I really didn't have like any time, like when I can like take any courses or any kind of like steps or spend some time or invest some time to be what I really want to be. But still, I had to compromise a lot in that case, like during the weekend, like when like everyone else like in my class like were going out or hanging out, like I stayed at home and utilized the time for my future. The one of the most important barrier and like the most critical barrier for me was like I had like so much restrictions to the internship and co-op, because since as an international student I wasn't allowed to work full-time outside, and most of the internship and co-op they ask for you to be a full-time, like you have to work for 40 hours a week, and that's what I wasn't allowed to in my visa. So I couldn't even like apply to any of those internship and co-ops. So there are like, so these are all of my constraint was to be what I want to be. But you always have a way, like if you know what are your obstacles, like you can always find a way how you can overcome that. But until you don't know what was the obstacles or what was lacking or missing, like you don't have any idea how to work on that. So, and that's where like comes like a lot of options, like when you know what is your obstacles like and what you want to be, so you can decide what are the things like you need to know to overcome that. For example, like for me, like I didn't have the opportunity to do the internship co-op, or like didn't have the design degree, like didn't have an options to study any design courses like into anywhere. So that's why I need to find my own way. So since everyone else on that field, they have the privilege of that, but I don't have that. So how can I compete with them, and how can I also get something similar like that? So that's why I have found some of my way that could help me in my way. So for example, like one of the solution that I found, like, yeah, I could like still be learning while I was teaching, and that will give me like two combined experience. Like I get the opportunity to learn, and I have the opportunity or experience of teaching the same type of design courses. So during my master's life, like I had spent like most of my time by teaching all of those design related courses, and where I have like 75 plus students like in each of my courses. And I have taught all those different types of like design softwares on design principles and everything as a teaching assistant. And that gave me a lot of opportunity to learn, because there are some situation like when I also didn't know about the topic that I'll be teaching like in next day or in next week. So to be on pressure or like to teach those, I had to learn those. So when I was in such a pressure or restrictions, like I had to learn those by myself, and I'm also teaching that at the same time. So that also strengthened my learning and my knowledge. And sometimes like there might even like the questions comes up like during the class, like which I don't know. And so I could easily like skip those, but I didn't do that. Like I took each of the single questions seriously, and I came to home and I studied about this question, find out the answers, and share that to my students. So that also helped me a lot to gain a lot of knowledge, like which is not possible just if I was just learning by myself. Like that it wasn't even possible, like that the opportunity that I got while teaching. And also the another plus point of teaching was that if I so since I wanted to be a designer, the communication and the presentation is one of some of the most of the important skill set. So while I was teaching, like I was teaching in front of 75 people, and that gave me that experiences or that made me familiar of talking to in front of people and make them understand about what I am talking about. And that's what I have to do in my job right now. Like I have to explain my work to others and to make it understandable to them, like from anyone like who is not in the relevant field. So this was one of the options for me to get some experiences, like overcoming all the constraints that I had. And the next thing I invested on is that learning during the lockdown time. So I since I already mentioned, like I have like a so much time constraint. So but when the pandemic hit, like I got a little bit of time that I can spend on myself. So instead of like doing some other things, or instead of just like relaxing on that time, I took this time to learn more about my relevant field. Like I did 3 courses like in online platform, and I also like didn't have the backup to pay for those courses, so I had to pay for financial support, and I was able to do all of those courses with the scholarship, so I didn't have to pay anything. I have done all of those courses for free. And the next thing like I try to do was like gather the relevant experience, and that's what we all have to do, because if I'm not from the same field, or if I'm coming from a different field, the one of the most important thing that was lagging or lacking in us is the relevant experiences. Like for example, like if you're from like a literature field but you want to be into the tech field, you don't have that much experiences like the people who are already been in tech or who are already been students of the tech field. So that is the thing you need to overcome to compete with those people, because your competitor will be on that level, like they will know everything, but you don't have that kind of background. So it's okay that you may not know anything, but you have the options and you need to do that to gather those experiences so that you can compete with them. So, for example, for me, like how I did that, like since I couldn't do any internship, I couldn't do any co op, or I couldn't do like any of those academic courses or degree or trainings or bootcamp or anything. So, I tried to look for in my surroundings what is available for me and what can I do about that. So, I found it like the volunteering is a pretty easy and straightforward options, like to do the voluntary work of the relevant type of work that will be required in your job. So it could be like same for all of us. Like we can spend some time on the volunteering work to see like how much we can do, because when I'm doing a volunteering work or we're doing a voluntary work, like we don't have that much like constraint, like a time constraint or deliverable constraints or a budget constraint. So that gives us a little bit of flexibility to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes. And the next thing was the contract job. And this was kind of tricky, right? Because in the contract job, you have to be responsible for the deliverable. Like if you do a mistake, so that can have a huge impact of your deliverables. So you always have to be very conscious and you always have to be very responsible of your actions and of your work. But if you can do that, like any kind of contract work, like if you don't have any options to do any other type of work to gather the experience, like this could be great options. Like I had done a lot of contract work for that one, but this was like a very, very overwhelming pressure, because in contract job is usually like you have very less time and you have to do a huge amount of work within that time with very tiny amount of budget. But sometimes it can be more, but usually like it's like a very tight budget. So but you have to start with somewhere, because in your real job you have to work with that kind of constraint, like you have to work on time constraint, budget constraints, and you have to take the responsibility of your actions and of your work. So you can get similar type of sense from the contract work. Also there comes the side projects. So just don't just rely on the voluntary contract or your like full-time work or internship or co-op. I would like I had spent a lot of time of doing the side project, and that really helped me to improve my skill set, and that always kept me motivated to do my work. And that is what like we should all have some time to do some of the side projects, because when you'll be applying for a job, when they will see like, oh, so it's not just you just always do the work for money, or you are have always have to like assign those tasks and then you will do that. But when they will see like, okay, so you do a lot of side project, that will give them the idea, okay, so you can also do the work by yourself. And the next thing comes is the transferable skills. Like that is the thing like most of us ignored, and like we don't hear that very often, but that is the most important things like we need to consider when we are doing the career space. Like because there will be always something, some sort of transferable skills that you can carry forward from your current field to your next field. The only thing is that you need to identify that. Like for example, like if I look at my case, so I, even though I don't have any like a design degree or education or internship and co-op, like anything like so-called those kind of traditional experiences, but I had a lot of transferable skill set that I could carry forward to my next field. Like I had learned, like I have done design work in my research and like while I was teaching, and also I have done like the mobile app design with computer science. I also had like coding and technical skills and another kind of design skills, so that I can carry forward in my next field to support me, so that I don't need to like start from scratch. So that is the thing we always ignore, but this is the most important thing. Find the transferable skills and see how you can incorporate that into your anticipated career, and that will give you a lot of strength. And finally, obviously, we need to rebrand our professional profile. Like, if you are switching your career or if you want to be on that field, you have to rebrand your whole professional profile. Like, it could be like anything, like your LinkedIn profile, Indeed, resume, CV, because you are now applying or if you are now preparing for this new field. You're no longer applying for your old field. So just rebrand everything, like rebrand your heading, rebrand your experience and everything. And it's not like so you cannot use anything from your previous one, like as I already mentioned, like the transferable skills. You can always use that while you're rebranding your new professional profile and see how can fit all other work and experience also to your new field. And this is not the end. So there are more hard part than this one. So when you will be in the job field, there will be so many competition and competitor with you. That's why you need to compete. And so that's why like my one and only motto, or like that's the one thing that I always follow, is that don't just be passionate, like be obsessed. Because if I'm passionate about something, like yeah, I'm passionate about cycling, I can do it like in parallel with my work. But if I'm obsessed with cycling, so that's the thing I want to do all the time. And that's what I want to achieve. Like, how can I do that, or how can I make that happen so that I have the options to do cycling all the time? So that's why just be obsessed with your goal. Like, don't just like follow your passion and just leave it on the midway. And for me, like since I was so much like obsessed with that one, like that's why I could overcome like all of those obstacles. Like I have already like shared this like in one of the like the LinkedIn post, and that I have applied to like hundred of jobs like before landing into my first job. And there's time like I barely got any responses like from them. But there's a time when I used to like get the interview calls like so frequently. So just it's easy to be frustrated and desperate when you're on that situations, like when nobody you see like nobody is willing to like being acceptable to you. But even though you're frustrated, you don't lose hope. Like just be consistent and see like how you can overcome that, and that's where it will take you to lead to your final goal. And so when I was shared that, like I see like, oh my God, it's not just me who has gone through the same phase. Like there are so many people like me, like us, like who are also going to the same phase. So if I can do that, they can do that. And also if they can do that, I can also do that. So you have to think it through this way. And since I was able to like do all of those struggles and obstacles, being so much obsessed with that one, and that's why I was able to overcome all of those. And so right now, like since I already know, like I have gone through like a fair share of roller coaster experiences. Now I try to share my experiences through public speaking. I have my YouTube channel where I share about the UX design tutorial and the career. And also like it's not just so just right after joining my new job, like it's within like 3 or 4 months, like I have owned the hackathon in our company. And also sometimes I do workshop like this, so where I spend some of the time to talk about the career, about the design and UX field that I am expert or that I know better now. And when I do that, like I see like it's not just me. There are so many people out there who are going through the same phase. And it's important for us to know like we know each other's stories, so we can be motivated, and so we can know like how we can do that one. So that was the thing like that I have gone through and I wanted to share, because we get frustrated so easily, but we need to keep our obsession on. Like, don't let your frustration kill your obsession. So that's the thing I want to share with all of you. Now, the final word is like be authentic and natural. So that means like be authentic to yourself, like know what you're doing and be natural when you're doing your work. Like don't just be shy or frustrated if you don't have that high amount of expenses like your competitor. Just bring your authentic, your natural self. That will lead you to your final goal. So that was kind of like a very brief story that I wanted to share. Like, and there could be so many other ways better than these or like other than these, but we need to explore that one and being adaptive with based on that. So it could be different for any of us, but if we just be obsessed with our goal, we can all do that. So that's kind of like a wrap up of my talk. And so let's see, like, if you have any questions or anything, you can always like contact me on my LinkedIn and in my YouTube channel, and also follow me on my website so where you can see all my latest updates and activity. So
Thank you so much, Procheta. Like it's really great story, and inspired all of us for sure. I have kind of similar one. Yeah, with like UI development, and I was a back end development, and I didn't like it. I found it's not really creative for me. I need to put some creativity, so I said, okay, let's go for UX and UI field, and I started like you reminded me with what I faced. But you know, you are more superhero because you were teaching like same time I like you're learning and you like boosted yourself so quickly. So it's really great. Thank you so much. And if anyone has any question, please put it in the chat. Okay, there's one question here. Hi, Projetta. Thank you for sharing your insights. Super helpful. Do you have any tips, resources for someone who wants to make transition, but is still figuring out the ideal role for the right fit?
okay, so yeah, so for the tips, like I guess I already mentioned that in that like my very first slide. Like you need to understand like why do you wanna do that. So if you are like to make a transition but is still figuring out the ideal role for it, so that means like there is something wrong with your current role. So it's really important to invest some time and to spend some time to see like what's wrong going on with your current role, and what is that thing that you don't like about, and what is the thing that you like about. And once you know like what you don't like about and what makes you feel like desperate, or what makes you feel thinking like no, I don't want to be in that role, I want to be something else. So that's where like okay, so you can be sure, okay, so you definitely don't want to be that role, but now the time is to find out like what else do you want. So and that's where comes those transferable skills. Just invest and explore some time on those, like the what are the transferable skills you have that you can use in another field, and see like what are the options those are related to those transferable field. And then you can see like okay, so now you have find 5 options. Like for example, like if you are coming from like a psychology background, okay, so you already have that hypothetical thinking, you already know like those kind of human psychology better, and what are the field related to those transferable skills. Like it could be like a journalist or anything, I don't know what it could be, but yeah, just find out this role and see like which roles you feel more interest about, and just start with one role and spend some time and see like okay, so do you like it, or if you don't like it, okay, try the next one. And like the try all of those and see like which one makes you more excited about doing the work. Just remember like it's not the like thing like okay, so I have choose this word, like now I want to do that. It's not like something. You have to think it through the other way, like, wow, I'm so curious about this. I want to do more about this. So if you find any roles that makes you think about that, so that's the perfect role for you. And yeah, definitely, like, thanks for this question. Like, this is like one of the questions like we're always confused about. And say like, okay, so do you have any
Perfect.
tips for
Yeah, there
people?
is another question. Do you have any tips for people who are over 50s and in the career transition?
Okay, so as I mentioned, like the age is really doesn't any matter. Like I have already shown the statistics. Like you can find those statistics in the U.S. Labor Bureau statistics. If you go to there, you'll see in U.S. like the average age of the people who are doing career transition is 39. So the 50 is not a big issue. Like who the 40 and 50 is almost the same. So age is really doesn't are very much obstacles. It's just your interest. Like, can you do that? Or if you have time to do that, or like if you have switched to that new field, like do you still feel that kind of excitement? That's the thing mainly matters. And the skills and all of those, it could be like soft skill, communication skills, or hard skill, anything. Like right now we have so many options like in Google. So it's learning is no longer a barrier. Like you don't need to invest like thousands of penny to learn a thing. Like you can learn from free stuff so much. Like so it's not just a age. So just don't be afraid of your age. Just try to do something like that you really like about.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Procheta. Yeah, the age doesn't matter, and even the education background not matter too much now. If you need something you love and you need to complete on it, just take the courage and go forward. Thank you so much, and we're so happy and lucky to have you today. So wrapping up our track for today, if you like need to navigate to the other track, to track two again, feel free to do that, and don't forget to fill the survey to be able to be inside the raffle prices draw. And I hope you enjoyed today this track and waiting you in the other track. Thank you so much.